Hi, my friends. This is Diana Rankin bringing you messages and perhaps a prediction or two for April 2017. Well, those of you who have been watching my videos know that I believe the future is liquid, that we are creating it. We're creating it with our thoughts, with our words, and with our deeds, certainly, and with our emotion. Uh, our emotions, like the ocean, and the bigger the emotion, the bigger the wave, and so the stronger the movement. So if we want to create something and we put emotion behind it, it's going to create stronger. It's going to create bigger, faster. It's going to create. Same thing with fear, and that's part of what's wrong in our world today. Fear is so strong, and it's like, oh, stop, 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 because what we're doing with all of that fear is we're creating more fear, and we're creating the tumultuous world that we're experiencing now, and that's not what we want. We want to really bring our lives back to feeling love, and if we bring our lives back to feeling love, we will change the world. It's not going to happen overnight because there's right now too much fear in the world. There's too much anger in the world. And so we need to change all of that in our own lives. And as we do that, we're then able to create bigger. April, I want to give you a couple of words for April. The throat chakra is going to come up a lot in April. So that tells me that our words are going to be extremely important in April, and we need to speak out, but we need to do so again with love. You know, we get confused about what love is. I'm in the US, and so we think of love as being romantic. We think of love as not having boundaries, and that's not love. Love is having healthy boundaries, and love always starts with loving ourselves first and then letting that love go out into the world. So love means we have to have boundaries, and it also means that when we see ourselves and when we see the other, we see with compassion, we see with kindness, we see with a loving heart. So this month we're going to be challenged with speaking from our hearts, not just from our heads, not just from our throats, but really, not just from this place here, but really speaking from this place here. And if you feel at any time like a frog in your throat, or your throat feels like it's clamping up, or you need to clear your throat, really at that point stop and ask yourself, what am I getting ready to say, or what am I saying here, or, what's going on? And that way you can stop and you can say, okay, wait, I want to say this from my heart, not just from up here. And if I say it from my heart, then I can look at my brain, look at my mind, look at my thoughts, and with those thoughts I can combine the two, head and heart. So I've got that left brain and right brain working here. Again, remember the emotion of whatever we say has to be balanced for it to work. If it's just all emotion, it may need a little balance there with the logic of the left brain. So that said, I want to remind us that life is liquid, the future is liquid. Every prediction that I or any psychic makes, whether it's with you personally, in your personal lives, when we have a private reading, and by the way, I think all of you should call me for a private reading. I do have some availabilities this month, so be sure and get them there early. How do you contact me? I have my two websites below, and both have ways of contacting me. If you can click on those websites and it works, great. If not, copy and paste into your browser. People also use those or the comments below to tell me what you would like me to address in our sessions. And by the way, if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. And if you are new to my videos, thank you for joining our community. We're happy to have you. I do try to address your concerns, and a couple of times I've even made videos specifically for someone And I have a list of those coming up where the people have asked me to address particular subjects that didn't fit in our weekly or monthly sessions. In this case, I will be putting out tomorrow the weekly uh, psychic soul messages and predictions for the week of starting April the 2nd. But this is April the 1st, so we're on this month. Now, back to this month. Keep in mind, the future's liquid, we can change it, but here's what I do see for this month. I'm afraid our weather patterns are going to get increasingly more treacherous for a while yet. Hopefully they'll start calming down toward the end of the month, but I see the first few weeks really being tumultuous. So just be careful. And I want to say also, there seems to be an increase of traffic accidents. That may be due to the weather, but please be careful, drive safely, and treasure your life. Your life is so important. Treasure it. Drive carefully. I'm also seeing an increase for many of you with ringing in the ears. I know that can drive people absolutely crazy. My ears, I became really aware of that. Oh gosh, I think I was in my late 20s, maybe early 30s, so many, many years ago. And it drove me crazy. I didn't know what it was. But what I want you to know, what it is, it's your soul sound. And it's like your soul is crying to you or singing to you. And it's coming from the ethers. It's coming from out here, and it's trying to reach you. And so follow that soul sound, and the way you would follow music, the way you would go to a symphony or a concert, and you might be dancing, or you might just be sitting there lolling around. It'll take you to wonderful places. So instead of letting it irritate you, uh, listen and follow it like music. It's not about getting rid of it. It's really about listening to your own inner voice. And we will have more and more opportunities, in fact, necessities to do that this month. It's really important that we listen to our inner voices. It's also important this month to gather in groups. So it's about reaching out. Where are those groups that can help me, that I can be of help and service to? So this month it's about time for reaching out and helping each other. It's about the throat, as I mentioned. So that is about speaking up and speaking out, but always in love. And it's also about talking to ourselves, turning that voice inwardly and listening, as well as talking to ourselves back and forth. When I was a little girl, my grandmother, I used to talk to myself, and I would answer myself, and she would say, "Don't do that. They'll think you're crazy." Well, I'm telling you, you're not. You're just maybe intuitive. So talk to yourself, but be sure and listen. I really highly recommend journaling for people. And I don't care if you draw in your journals. I don't care if in your journals you spell correctly. I go back and reread. I have like 150 journals. And I go back and reread different periods of my life. And it's like, I'm a grammar nut and I misspelled. I used the wrong verb here. I don't care. None of that matters. It is important, though, that you listen to yourself this month. Politically, you already know it. Upheavals all over the place. We're going to more secrets are gonna come out. Unfortunately, we're gearing up for war, and so let's do our best to keep that from happening. That we don't need World War III. We don't need major nations, the big bullies, to be bombing smaller countries. So let's all hold our world in loving light. I do have a meditation for personal and planetary healing. Please go pay attention to that. If not my meditation, someone else's. Okay, let's see what Philip has to say. Philip is my spirit guide, and you are welcome to use Philip as your spirit guide because he works with many, many people. And especially if you have a Celtic background, Philip was an old druid way back when. So anyway, it's the Master's Book of Answers by Philip, and for those of you who are new, we flip through because each page has a different answer on it. And so we have to think left or right page. So get your intuition going there and think left or right, and let's see where we're going. All right. Okay, I'm hearing left. And it says, are not your vices your virtues, and your virtues also your vices? Are not your vices your virtues, and your virtues also your vices? Well, I'm going to give you an example about that. When I was younger, probably my worst vice, according to my mother, was I had a terrible temper. I was angry about things, and I would stomp my foot and say, stop. And I also would slam my bedroom door. Well, her answer to that was she took the door off my bedroom for a few days. And so I had no privacy. And I learned very quickly, stop slamming doors. That's not the way to deal with your anger. So that was a vice. However, I turned that into a virtue because instead of getting really angry when I feel that anger welling up, and I had to actually learn in my body where it comes from, when I feel that anger coming, I'm able to stop it and redirect it into strong emotional movement toward something positive. So, for example, if I'm feeling the anger coming up at one of my cats or dogs and I'm saying, oh, stop what you're doing, then I have to stop and say, wait a minute, what is that anger really about? And I may find it's just about something that, a political, for example, I'm angry that we are, as a country, my country is bombing Syria. That makes me angry that we are killing civilians in Syria. And so I take that anger and I can work toward peace, using that emotion to work toward peace. So keep in mind, are not your vices your virtues, and your virtues also your vices? All right, my friend. Find your vices and turn them into virtues, and then also celebrate your virtues this month. Remember, beauty is all around you, and this is certainly a month to see it. So allow your voice to speak allow your eyes to see the beauty, and your voice to speak the beauty of your heart. I'm so grateful you've been with me today. I thank you. Be sure and watch for the video for this week of coming up starting tomorrow, April the 2nd. Thank you, my friends, for being with me. I love you. Have a wonderful, wonderful April. Speak up for what you believe in, but do so with beauty and love of the heart. Thank you. I love you.